Hello guys, very good morning to one and all. Myself Dr. Atul. I am welcoming you all to my YouTube channel Aradhana Ayur Blog AK. So as you all know, we are dealing with the anatomical classes. So last class we had discussed regarding the osteology. What is osteology and the classification of the bones. There we had discussed regarding the classification which is based on the shape and the size and based on the location. So we will be continuing that part only. So before going to the video, if anyone is new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel and also click on the bell button. Click on the enable all notification so that you will receive every notification when we upload new videos. So let's go into the topic. So next is we will continue that one only, the classification which is based on the microscopic view. So two classification we had discussed yesterday, that is based on the location, that is the axial and appendicular, and similarly we had discussed regarding the based on the shape and the size. There we discussed the long, short bones, long bones, similarly irregular bones, sigmoid bones, etc. we have discussed. And next one is the based on the microscopic. First one is the compact. So here the bone tissues are compactly arranged. So compact type, that is here bone tissues compactly arranged. Please make sure that you are making the notes simultaneously so that it will be very easy for you when you see at the end. The notes will be ready with you and it will not be that much burden at the time of the examination. So first one is the compact, that is the bone tissue that is compactly arranged. Second one is a spongy type. Here it is compactly arranged, but here it is not that compact, it is somewhat loosely packed. So similarly here also the bone tissues are not that compactly arranged, here they are loosely packed. And the third one is the diploic one. Here also spongy tissues are sandwiched between the two compact bone. So I had told two compact bone means what is that? Compact bones are some of the bone tissue that is compactly arranged. So between these two compact bones there is a spongy tissue type, that is what is called as a diploic one. So this is a spongy tissue. It has been sandwiched, you know the sandwich. So similarly like this is a sandwich type. Between these two, this spongy tissue is there. So spongy tissues that are sandwiched between the two diploic bone. Example you can see as a skull bone. So these are the three types according to the microscopic: compact, that is been compactly arranged; spongy, that is loosely packed; and diploic also a spongy tissue that is loosely packed between the two diploid. Between two diploid, spongy is there, like sandwich type, like example is skull. So what is diploic vein? That is frequently asked in the papers also. What is diploic vein? So these are the veins present or passing from outside to inside, piercing through the diploic. So we had told what is diploic. So these are the veins, so diploic veins. So obviously these are the veins that is passing from outside to inside, okay. These are the veins that are passing from outside to inside, piercing through the diploic. This is a diploic which we already told about, that is been sandwiched between the two compact bones. So these are the veins that are passing from outside to inside, piercing through the diploic. That is what is called as diploic. It can be asked for 2 mark or in the any of the questions as a sub question you can ask. So next let's discuss the classification which is based on the embryology. Classification of the bones which are based on embryology or developmental anatomy, based on embryology. So first one is the 2 are there. First one is the membranous bones. Second one is the cartilaginous bone. Membranous bones and the cartilaginous bone. So this just you can remember the name and how they are formed. That is there from mesoderm, mesenchymal cell is formed, osteoblast are formed, then bone is formed. We are seeing in the cartilaginous, mesoderm is there, mesenchymal cells will come and chondroblast, then cartilage, then bone, because cartilaginous after cartilage like that. So remember the names only based on the embryology. Membranous bone and cartilaginous bone is there. So next let's discuss the general structure of the bone. The general structure of the bone. So what are the parts, what are structures coming in a bone, that we will be discussing now. So now let's discuss general structure of the bone. You can just consider the diagram as a bone. So if you are considering this as a bone, every time when we draw the diagram it should be neat enough, not like this, and you should prepare yourself good in the diagram when you come to anatomy and physiology. And also you can mark the diagram, you can mark it in the single side. Okay, so considering this as a bone, we are discussing the general structures of the bone. And the outer layer, first of all I will tell, this portion is the shaft, the middle portion. Last class also we discussed the upper end, lower end and the shaft. So shaft here also it is called as a diaphysis, and this end, the upper, from the upper, this here, similarly here also it is there. This both the end it is called as the epiphysis, EPI, epiphysis. Epiphysis. And the outer, this one it is called as the periosteum. And the inner part is called as the medullary cavity. Marrow cavity also we can say, or the medullary cavity. Periosteum, medullary cavity, and here it is been filled with something I will be telling afterwards. Okay. So two part of the bone, that is epiphysis, middle shaft is called as a diaphysis, outer layer is known as periosteum, the inner one is known as the medullary cavity. And this gap between the periosteum and the medullary cavity is called something called as cortex. This is very easy. First of all, this is be divided into 3 regions, that is upper, lower and shaft. Both the ends is called as epiphysis, the middle shaft portion is called as diaphysis, that is okay, and the inner one which you are seeing is the medullary cavity. So this medullary cavity is filled with, this filled with dotted line, you can see that is filled with the bone marrow, that is filled with bone marrow. It may be red or it may be yellow, it has been filled with the bone marrow. So there are gaps present between the epiphysis and the shaft, or epiphysis and the diaphysis. In case of the child or pediatric case, there may be gap between the epiphysis and diaphysis. That is called as the metaphysis. Metaphysis, that is seen in the pediatric cases. Pediatric cases we can see that. So you can see gap between the epiphysis and the diaphysis in case of the pediatric, that is known as the metaphysis. Metaphysis, and it is not the fracture, it is not a fracture, it will be there in the pediatric cases. And what are the space between this medullary cavity and the outer layer, that is the periosteum, that is called as the cortex. So this was some of the structure of the bone. Let's discuss what is periosteum and the two layers of the periosteum. I have told periosteum as the outer layer. Okay. So periosteum, it covers the bone externally. It covers the bone externally, and it's a tough sheath composed of the collagen fiber tissue. It's a tough sheath. It has been made up of, composed of collagen fibrous tissue. Tendons of the muscles are attached to this sheath. So periosteum is the something that covers the bone externally and is made up of the tough sheath that is been composed of the fibrous tissue, and it is having the two layer, as I had already told, that is the inner layer and outer layer. So coming to the outer layer, it is formed by fibrous tissue, so also called as a fibrous layer. So outer layer is also called as fibrous layer, as it is being formed by the fibrous tissue, and it helps in the attachment. Its function is helps in the attachment of the muscle. It has been outside layer, outer layer, attachment of muscle. It helps in the attachment of the muscle. So I had told periosteum is something that covers externally and is made of tough sheath. Two layers are there, inner and outer layer. Outer layer, that is present in the outer region, you can say, and it is also formed of the fibrous tissue, so it is known as fibrous layer. And its main function, what we can say, is it is the attachment of the muscles. Muscles get attached in this layer. And the second one is the inner layer. The second one is the inner layer, that is formed by the cells. Their fibrous tissue was there, and here it has been formed by cell. Formed by the cells, and is also called as a cellular layer. So it is been formed by the cells. It has been formed by the cells. So it is called as a cellular layer, and the outer layer is formed by the fibrous tissue. So it is called as a fibrous layer. So inner layer, cellular layer, outer layer, fibrous layer. It is formed by cells, so it is called as cellular layer. Production of the bone. Production of bone takes 21 days. It takes 21 days after fracture happen. So once you get fracture, it takes 21 days again to form the bone. Okay. So this was some of the classification and the general structure of the bones. We seen general structure as the outer layer, periosteum is there, Again, the inner part, there is a medullary cavity which is been having the bone marrow in it. The gap between the bone marrow, that is the medullary cavity, and the outer layer, that is periosteum, is called as a cortex. Mainly it is having the three parts, that is upper end, middle and shaft. Shaft is called as diaphysis, and the two ends is called as the epiphysis. And the epiphysis and the diaphysis, sometimes it has some gap, sometimes having the gap, it is not the fracture in case of the child or the pediatric. So this was some of the regarding the structure of the bones. So we will see in the next video. Until then, thank you.